Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Science with Sam. Today, we are going to be making Wigglebots. That's right, this is our first adventure into making something using robotic parts. So, what I have here is a Wigglebot, and it's also been known by the name of an ArtBot. So, it's got markers on the bottom, and you're going to see what kind of artwork it makes. So you take off the lids, and once I put this battery in, you'll see it moves because it has a motor on it. And so we're going to work with electricity and batteries and motors. And this little guy will dance and spin around, and he will make all kinds of artwork on the piece of paper. Kind of got to hold it down because he tries to take the paper with him. And then we take the battery out so that he doesn't spin forever. And you have Wiggle art. So this is what we'll be working on today, is making a little robot who dances around and makes art. So here we get started. The supplies that you will need or will be provided with from a kit if you pick it up in the kids space. Now, just a reminder, if you want to ensure that you get a kit, call us and you can reserve a spot for a kit, or you can come into the library and see me back at the kids space desk at the Alton Square Mall branch of Hainer Public Library, and I can register you for a kit. So what we're going to do is we're going to need a motor. This is a DC motor that goes 1.5 to 3 volts. We will need a battery pack, and it takes 2 AAA batteries. It also has these wires right here to hook up to our motor. Of course, you'll need to put those on something. So we are going to need a plastic cup. That's for the body of our robot. And to make the batteries work and the motor run, you're going to need some batteries. So you'll need 2 AAA batteries for that. I will be providing those in the kit as well. Here it is. So we've got 2 batteries. You will need a clothespin, some electrical tape for safety, and markers, of course, to make your marks. Now, there's a couple extra things to add, some googly eyes to give them a cute little face, and if you have any markers at home, you can draw on a mouth and a nose, and you can make your bot look like whatever you want it to look like. But here is how we begin. So first, we're going to put our markers inside while it doesn't have the motor, and it's easiest to do that. Okay, so you have 3 markers, and the first thing you're going to do is tape them in 3 spots that are equal from each other inside the cup. I'm going to do this using regular tape, but you can use any tape that you have at home or even electrical tape. I will provide electrical tape definitely for the motor. Now you want to tape this in here so that the marker drawing in is facing outwards of the cup. Otherwise, it won't be able to draw anything. You also want to make sure that your legs are all the same height out of the cup. The way I do this is I measure it basically right by the cap of the marker. If they're not equally all outside of the cup, the robot is uneven on its feet and it wobbles too much and falls down. All right, now I've got my 3 on here. It looks like one's a little further than the rest, so I'm going to move it a little bit right here. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of extra tape on each of them to make it super sturdy because we want the legs of our robot to be able to hold it up. All right. Next, we are going to tape our battery pack onto the robot. So as I'm doing this, I want to talk about electricity and motors a little bit. So an electrical motor is a device that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So this is our motor, and we're trying to get mechanical energy so that it moves. Get some scissors to help cut my tape. So this battery pack supplies our electrical energy. What we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of straps and we're going to tape it on a little bit off center to the side because we want our motor more in the center so that it provides a good wobble. Okay. Battery pack on. All right, there we go. Okay, we're going to take these wires and connect them to the motor. You'll see you have two wires, and on your motor, on one of the sides, you have two little metal pieces right here where you can connect them. You'll connect one wire to each metal piece. And what you'll do that by is at the end of the wire, there's a little wire sticking out of the plastic coating that protects it. You're going to take that little bit of wire and wrap it around one of the metal pieces. You want to get it really tight on there, and it's a little difficult, but eventually it gets there. All right, you're going to take the other wire and wrap it around the other piece. And I like to secure it just a little bit with electrical tape. Not a lot of tape, just a little. And I just tape it right over the edges there so it doesn't go anywhere. All right. So magnetism plays a huge role. Oh no, my wire fell off. Well, I'll talk while I'm fixing that. Magnetism plays a huge role in this process of mechanical energy and electrical energy. So if you don't know much about magnets, magnets have two poles, one at either end, north and south. Kind of like the Earth, right? We've got a north and a south pole. And when opposite poles, north and south, are near each other, they are attracted to each other. That means that they want to get close. That's what happens when you put your magnet on the fridge. It tries to get really close to it and sticks. Now, when like poles are near each other, for example, like a North Pole and a North Pole, they want to get away from each other. They repel each other. So electricity and magnetism like that can be used to create torque. And that is what's happening in our little motor right here. Torque is I'm going to tape this motor, by the way, on the center now. And I'm going to have the wires wrap around the back as I do so. I'm just letting you know while I do that and while we continue to talk about the science. So, torque is a measure of the force that can cause an object to rotate about an axis. So, this mechanical motor will rotate on the top, as you saw in the demonstration at the beginning when the clothespin was, rotating and circling around. So torque can be used to power mechanical devices such as robotic arms and mobility systems, where gears are used to kind of regulate the speed at which the torque is applied. Oh, there we go, tape that on. We want to tape this motor on very well so so that doesn't go anywhere because it's got a lot of power. And you want to be as centered as possible. Torque is also a rotational force that you use when opening a bottle of soda or using a wrench to loosen or tighten a nut. Torque is that force that just twists something. Torque is created through the attraction and repulsion exhibited in magnets. So, you know, when we were talking about north and south poles wanting to push or pull things together, that's what torque is created by. So all of this creates the rotation that happens in the Wigglebots motor. And when paired with electricity from the electricity from the batteries, the magnetism will create that torque that will create that spin. So we've got a motor, we've got a battery pack on here, all taped on using this electrical tape. The next thing we're going to want to work on is adding a little bit of a weight to counterbalance this Wigglebot so it wiggles. Because as of right now, if I were to put batteries in it with nothing but how it is, the motor will spin, but the Wigglebot won't move. So we need a counterweight. Let's take the batteries out. All right. So we're going to add this clothespin to have that counterbalance. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to take some more electrical tape. You'll take a piece of it and you'll cut that piece in half. And we're going to stick that tape on the rotational motor stick sticking out of the top. So first I'm going to wrap it around just once to get it stuck. And then we're going to go backwards so the sticky side is out. And this is going to stick to the clothespin. And you can't see it very well because, you know, both sides are black and they look the same. But the sticky part of the tape is facing out. And I'm just going to wrap it around there real quick. All right, there we go. Now you'll take the clothespin and you'll see this small little hole in the middle here. That's where you're going to stick on there. Boom. All right, so we have a mostly finished Wigglebot. Of course, if you want to add any extras, we could add googly eyes, you could draw a face on there, you can make art on there, but let's test and see. Will the Wigglebot make art on paper? All right, we'll take off the markers, caps, leave the markers on, we'll take off the caps. And then we're gonna put our Wigglebot on the paper and put in our last battery. There are 2 batteries, and once it goes in, it goes. So let's, oh no, it's not working. All right, let's pause and see what's wrong. All right, everyone, I'm back and I've investigated the problem. As you can see, it was quite a mess. The Wigglebot drew on me, but I figured out what was happening. At the bottom of the motor is the other side of this here pin that twists. And if it's pressed down too hard against the cup, it's not going to twist very well. So our pin was hitting the tape from the motor. So I had to move it slightly to offset it. Also, when I was putting the clip on, I was putting it too far down and connecting it to the gray part, so it wasn't spinning. Really, it needs to be more towards this edge of the top black part of the tape. So let's try this again. We've got our Wigglebot. We've got our motor and everything going. We're going to put the clothespin on the top edge right here. And I'll tell you, the reason I knew the motor was working fine and connected to the batteries because it worked when I didn't have the clothespin on there. So it had to be something else to do with that. Was it the weight of the clothespin? Was it the way the motor was, how it was connected? So I went from backwards from where I was at. I took the clothespin off. It still worked. Well, what was the next part? And then I saw. So let's put in our battery. And it's moving. And we're doing good. So, as usual, we have to test our robot. Get a blank piece of paper. All right, And here we go. Ah, it fell over. There we go. Just what we were looking for. All right, that was it for Science with Sam today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you enjoy your new art Wigglebots. Bye, y'all.